I want you to close your eyes for a moment and think of someone who really knows you. A friend, a parent, a partner, a mentor, a teacher, a child. Think about a time when that person really saw you in your fullness, the complete you. How did it feel in your head, in your heart? Now think of a time when that person knew you well enough to help you realize something needed to change before you had figured that out for yourself. When that person was able to help you switch gears. How did that feel in your head, in your heart? You can open your eyes. We hear tochacha critique best when it comes from someone who loves us and wants the best from us. This week's Torah portion is named after Yitro, Moses' father-in-law, someone who really loved him and was the person who was able to give Moses tochacha in a way that he could hear. What makes Yitro so special that Moses had such a great relationship with him? What qualities in him can we find in the Yitros in our own life? There are 3 things about Yitro that Moses admired. Yitro welcomes a stranger, he is spiritually attuned, and he is family. These men have been fond of each other since they first met. Moses defended Yitro's daughters from ruffians at a well. In one of my favorite midrashim, the movie The Prince of Egypt, Yitro is portrayed as a lovable patriarch of a desert clan. He tells Moses he must see his life through heaven's eyes. He actually sings it, but close enough. That's how I picture Moses when he first arrives at Yitro's home. Moses had just left from Egypt and sought a place of refuge. Yitro welcomes this stranger into his tent. Yitro saw him as a man of integrity, willing to protect children when others were harassing them. By welcoming him in, Yitro provides a place of safety for Moses from Pharaoh. Our Yitros may be the people who welcome us in when we are alone and we are afraid. Yitro's second quality is his spiritual awareness. The commentator Abarbanel cites an amazing midrash that is reminiscent of King Arthur drawing Excalibur from the stone. It describes Moses beginning to pray in Yitro's garden. He comes across a staff that has God's name written on it and is firmly planted into the ground. This is the staff that is destined to split the sea and perform God's wonders. Abarbanel identifies this piece of wood with the tree of life from the Garden of Eden and says that it symbolizes wisdom. Moses reaches, pulls out, and is able to extract it from the ground. We know Moses has the gift of observing holy things, like the burning bush. The fact that this holy staff was placed in Yitro's garden shows us that he must have been a man of spiritual awareness as well. The Midrash teaches that the staff was planted in Yitro's garden and symbolically in his heart. So you could say Moses finds the wooden key to Yitro's heart. Yitro, the high priest of Midian, had a staff with God's name on it. Yitro not only sees God where he expects God to be. After Moses shares what has happened to the Israelites in Egypt, Yitro offers a blessing and offers a sacrifice to God. Yitro has a spiritual awareness to see God outside his usual religious realm, among a people not his own. The commentator Orach Chaim believes the Torah highlights Yitro's spiritual sensitivity to convey the message that there are giants of understanding and knowledge among non-Israelites. Yitro is a foreign priest who has the ability to see God and God-seekers like Moses wherever God may manifest. Our Yitros may be people from different or similar spiritual backgrounds who can share spiritual moments with us. Yitro is also family. He is Moses' father-in-law. The word choten, father-in-law, appears 8 times in the first 12 verses of our parsha. The Torah really, really wants you to know that these two are related. Moses does not have much of a personal relationship with the rest of his family. He is the quintessential lonely man of faith. He has long conversations with God and with his adversary Pharaoh, but with no one else, except Yitro. Moses' conversations with Yitro are the most positive, ongoing dialogue he has with a human being. Moses creates a loving family relationship with an in-law. No small feat. Our Yitros are those who love us and maybe our given or chosen family. Yitro was a good companion to Moses due to his openness, spiritual awareness, and a close family relationship. This basis of the relationship allows Yitro to identify when Moses is not being the most effective leader he could be. Yitro learns that Moses judges the people from dawn until dusk, every day, all day. Yitro identifies that this is not a long-term viable solution for adjudicating the Israelites' problems. He cannot continue to possibly do all of this all on his own. Yitro raises this with Moses in a way that he can hear. First, he asks Moses why he has chosen to act this way. Moses explains that he is sharing the laws of God with his people. Moses has good reasons for his actions. He acts out of faith and a desire to serve God, but his implementation is problematic. Only after he hears Moses' answer does Yitro suggest that for Moses to continue to act alone is unsustainable. He tells Moses he must share the burden of decision-making with others. He must create a shared leadership structure. If he does not, Yitro says in one of my favorite lines in the Torah, quote, "You will surely wear yourself out and these people as well," end quote. Moses' leadership mistakes become the mistakes of the community. Yitro tells Moses that being a good leader involves sharing leadership roles with those you serve. By sharing leadership, Moses will not only take better care of himself, but his people as well. Moses needed someone he trusted to tell him that the best way to serve God was to take care of himself and to encourage others to bring their talents to the table. As future clergy and Jewish educators, or current clergy and future educators, this is a message that should resonate for all of us. It is too common in the helping professions to take on too many responsibilities. I have heard my friends and colleagues at JTS say, who has time to sleep, or eat right, or exercise, or go to the doctor when I'm trying to make the world a better place? I have said it myself. When I take on too much, I am a less effective leader. I suffer, as do those that I serve. How do we find people like Yitro who are welcoming and spiritually wise, who we are close to and admire, who can call us out when we have gone astray? I would like to give a personal example and share a Yitro moment with you. During my third year of rabbinical school, I hit a breaking point. I was taking 6 classes and had 3 jobs. I was suffering from mysterious joint problems that no one could diagnose, and I was in pain all the time. In addition, I was trying to leave a semi-sane life where I occasionally saw Matan and remembered to sleep. Let's just say I wasn't doing any of it well. But I was going to be a rabbi, I thought. Failure didn't seem like an option. Thankfully, 2 of the many Yitros in my life, like the Yitro in the Parsha, told me I needed to change course. One was a family Yitro, and one was a spiritual colleague Yitro. One particularly bad day, I called my parents in tears. My father listened and said, "Why don't you take another year of school? If you take better care of yourself, you'll do better at everything." I scoffed, as we sometimes do at parents, and said he was being ridiculous. But the idea began to sit with me. I reached out to a friend from Oberlin College and JTS, Rabbi Ethan Wachowski. I knew he had not finished JTS in 5 years. He told me it was the best decision he had made. He even had time to do the recommended readings for his classes. Who ever has time for that? It's quite impressive. Taking more time allowed him to be a better student and a better rabbi. He encouraged me to do the same. My personal Yitros reminded me that not only was I burning out, but I was wearing out those I was serving at the time and those I would serve in the future. I was not being the best rabbinical student or future rabbi I could be. When I finally decided to listen to what they were telling me, I took another year to complete school. I felt like a failure because I could not keep up with the pace of my classmates, but it was what I needed to do. And when I did, I was able to sleep more and find some healing for my body. As I took care of myself, I was a more open, compassionate, and responsive student rabbi in all of my subsequent jobs. I had time to be the rabbinical student president. I worked in collaboration with students and staff on ways that JTS might take better care of its students. Looking back, it is one of the best things I did in rabbinical school. It allowed me to become a much better leader, a much better future rabbi, and a much better version of myself. It would never have happened without my 2 Yitros telling me that something in me needed to change. Think again now about the same person you thought of at the beginning of this drash, who was able to help redirect you. Think of your Yitro. How did they help you be the best version of yourself? In Pirkei Avot, it says, "Aseh lecha rav, ukneh lecha chaver, veheve dan et kol ha'adam l'chaf zchut." One should make oneself a teacher and acquire a friend and judge everyone positively. I would like to add in a fourth thing. Find yourself a Yitro who will remind you when something in you needs to change. May we all be blessed with having many Yitros in our lives who can really see us when we can't fully see ourselves. Thank you. Kaddish D'Rabbanan. Yitgadal v'yitkadash Shmei Rabbah. Be'alma divrach kirutei v'yamlich malchutei b'chayechon u'vyumechon u'v'chayei dechol Beit Yisrael ba'agala u'vizman kariv v'imru Amen. Yehi Shmei Rabbah mevorach le'olam le'olmei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitale v'yitalal Shmei dekudasha brichu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechamata damiran be'alma v'imru Amen. Al Yisrael ve'al Rabbanan ve'al Talmidehon ve'al kol Talmidei Talmidehon ve'al kol man da'askin be'oraita di ve'atra haden ve'di bechol atar ve'atar yehi lachon u'lachon shlama rabba china v'chista v'rachamin v'chayin arichin u'mezona revicha u'for kanan mi kadam avahun di vishmaya v'imru Amen. Yehi shlama rabba min shemaya v'chayim tovim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru Oseh shalom b'imromav, hu berachamav yaseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'al kol yoshvei tevel v'imru. Amen. You're all invited for some cookies and nash and coffee and such in the other room.